ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the John Woodard Show. Today, we're going to interview Tivon Howard. He is a candidate for sheriff in Wake County. And I have to say that he has been recommended highly by people that I know in Raleigh and the surrounding area. So I hope that as you listen to what he has to say, that you'll understand why people like him so well. Good afternoon, Sheriff. How you doing, buddy?
All right, sir. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
You know, considering the times that we're in, I guess I'm doing about as good as anybody.
Absolutely.
Well, tell me, you're a deputy, correct?
Police officer in Zebulon.
You're a police officer.
Yeah, I'm over major crimes.
Zebulon. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, that's a suburb of Raleigh, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir. It is. It is a smaller suburb of Raleigh. It's on the eastern side of the county. It's the very last county before you go into Franklin or Nash or any of the other surrounding counties.
How long have you been in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement for about 22 years. Before that, I was in the military, 82nd Airborne Division, in infantry in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And decided to do service for my community from there and continue service. I've been here in Zebulon all 22 years. So I'm very focused and driven on trying to help my community be better and be safe.
Well, the serving in the 82nd Airborne is quite an achievement. Did you serve overseas?
I did. I've been over to Korea, Germany, and some deployments you can't even talk about.
I understand. What was your discharge rate?
I was honorably discharged.
No, I mean rank.
Oh, rank as a sergeant. I got discharged as a sergeant. So I was a supervisor as a supervisor over soldiers as well. So
were you an E5, E6, E7?
E5.
Okay. Well, so you've had the experience of commanding soldiers, probably a bit different than what you find in the police ranks, isn't it?
Yes, I'm over major crimes right now, which is different than all of the other ones. So, I was a sergeant, then I was a first sergeant over there in patrol, and then I became the sergeant over supervisor over major crimes. So it's quite different in the areas of police work, but it's all the same as far as leading and being a leader. You have to identify what the issues are, and you have to lead from the front and not the rear. I mean, and you have to be hands-on. And I believe that's what the sheriff's office need right now. Executive leaders is fine, but behind the desk, if you lead behind the desk, it's not going to get the work done. You have to be out there making sure the work's getting done. And that's why I signed up to be your Wake County Sheriff.
Well, when you're out in the field, there's so many things that are part of our society today that never were in the past. The disrespect for officers and everybody's got a cell phone camera and taking pictures of everything and everybody. So it's just like a friend of mine told me he is in the real estate business, and he told me, he said he spent 50% of his time just working on making sure to keep his real estate firm out of legal trouble. So falls in the same thing with you out there in the field, making sure the officers don't make a mistake that are going to come back and bite you.
Absolutely. So, I'm also a general instructor for law enforcement for throughout the state. I'm state certified, and that's kind of one of those unique qualities I bring to the job. You have to teach them how to treat your community and how their community want to be treated. And if they don't, it's like a CEO. You can pass down the information, but the information gets lost. So if it's getting lost, you should be the one that's coming down directly to the lower ranks and making sure that they understand exactly what you expect out of them. And if you don't give them your expectations, they won't know your expectations. So that's another thing, another key issue that we've seen in law enforcement that we need to have. We need to restart. We need to do a restart and make sure that everybody knows their expectations. That way, when it'll be easier to stick up for your officers because they've molded themselves and they're working under your expectations. It'll be easier to get out there and defend them because that's your expectations. And I think that's a good quality to have.
It most certainly is. That everybody says, well, it's in the book. Well, sometimes the book just doesn't get read. But when you've got your boss standing in front of you and telling you what is expected of them, I think they might be inclined to listen. They can slough off the book, but they can't slough off the man in front of them.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Well, that's my biggest pet peeve. Got to know expectations. If you don't know the expectations, how are you going to perform under those expectations?
So, is this your first time in elective office?
Yes, I chose the sheriff's office because law enforcement and service to people is all I know. I don't want to I don't want to go into any other office. I don't have any admirations. I just want to serve the community as the sheriff. So as far as anything past that, I'm not interested. So you won't see me running for lieutenant.
Time you run for office, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Well, what is the current sheriff in Wake County retiring or what?
So the current Sheriff Gerald Baker, it's been a lot of issues since he went into office, and the sheriff's offices ran amok. And it's unfortunate because it takes a toll on municipalities to answer some of their calls and to support them instead of them being the big brother to support us. And as I seen Raleigh get tore up and all of those things happen, and by the way, Zebulon didn't get tore up. We were on standby to assist Raleigh with their issues during the riot area or riot season, as they call it. And I felt like somebody had to step up and get the sheriff's office right. The way it was going, it was defeating, and it was not taking care of the citizens like we should be as law enforcement. So I decided to run against them.
Well, buddy, I tell you, I heard this jewelry store manager in downtown talking about how all of
new
the
pending incident.
I'm sorry.
That all of the police were protecting state-owned buildings, and nobody was protecting his building. And boy, I thought to myself, boy, how back-asswards can you be? I mean, state-owned buildings are important, but the common man who's trying to earn a living needs to have some police protection as well.
Well, I mean, that's what you pay your taxes for. That's what you elect the sheriff for. That's what you hire individuals in office for, is to protect your interests in the community. And that wasn't happening. There was a lack of leadership those years that all this stuff was happening, and you have to be a leader. You have to be a strong leader. Even when adversaries and everything gets in the way, you still have to lead, and you have to take stick up for the community, because the community is who elect you, and that's who puts you in office. And it's all the community, not just a section of here or listen to a section of there. It's the whole community as a whole. And it was just a travesty to watch businesses. They're not ever going to recoup their losses, ever. They're gone. And some of them had to close. And, this is America, where you work hard to get where you at. And it is a shame to have that those things happen, and the government just basically is not around to help you, not around to help you recoup your benefits or get to charge the individuals that broke into your business, or you don't get anything out of it. And I just thought that was wrong, and that's why I stepped up. I said enough is enough. It is now enough, and I meant it.
Do you know how many other candidates there are for the job besides
So
yourself?
So I'm a Republican candidate. There's two other Republicans besides myself. Um, there is seven Democratic candidates. So I'll tell you, our county is prominently blue. It's called a blue county. So there's seven running against each other on the Democratic side. So a total of 10 candidates. That's a lot of candidates.
Amen to that. But the law enforcement in Raleigh proper and Wake County generally has been a serious problem. And these kids at the colleges pulling down
Mhm.
statues and being disrespectful. And, where in the hell are the parents?
Well, unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but I believe that some of the individuals are learning this, in college, as they're in their peer groups and at school. It could be professors involved. Um, they are bent on the destruction of property, and they look at it as it's only property, and insurance and this and that can take care of it. But the destruction period is a crime, and if you're involved in any criminal acts, you will be prosecuted. Period. And I don't care if I have to continue to lock you up each and every day. You'll be prosecuted.
Well, how many officers are there in the Wake County Sheriff's Department?
Now, he is 120 odd men short. So I believe he may have about 700, and that's civilian and deputies and detention put together. Uh, but he is authorized, I think, 900 and something. And so he's about 160, 100, 140, 150, somewhere around there, short.
Boy, the way things are in society today, um, you know, recruitment of officers to go through the academy and come out and join the force. That's a tall task, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But you have to have a plan to attract those individuals back, or attract new individuals into this line of work. And as they're putting the young men out of the military, they're putting them out simply for not being vaccinated. And if that's the case, we need to be able to welcome them in. They've already trained. They're already available. They're already in shape. They already can do the task. So we need to, as many of those who want to be police officers, who are already serving in uniform anyway, and just put on a different uniform and serve their communities. So I'm going to be looking forward to recruiting from the different. We got 6 military bases in North Carolina, and they're very, very good bases. They're very good young men and women in uniform. That all you have to do is present the information to them and give them the option to come down and join you. And I'm going to be willing to send my recruiters out to get that done.
The one thing about the military, I served in the military in the Vietnam War era.
Mm-hmm.
You know right quick that uh, if you don't follow directions and do what you're told, they're going to bust you right down to your socks.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get men that have come up through uh, the training and everything. They know how to take a task and identify the solution,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not caught up in a lot of bureaucratic nonsense. Go right
Mm-hmm.
straight to the heart of the matter. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what the community ought to want, and they ought to
Mm-hmm.
want a plenty of them. So you ought to have some good opportunities with all those bases, and the foolishness of the government to fire people for the shot. That is just it's ridiculous on its face, but it is what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
for a few more years.
That's all right, but I got a plan. If I'm elected, when I'm elected, to recruit directly from the military. Why not? Those are good men and women. If we can make them welcome, we can welcome them in, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. And believe it'll work.
What on the law enforcement delivery side, not administration, but and maybe not traffic control, but what else in the department do you think needs to be provided some focus?
I need to provide focus on the gun permits. I need people to get their gun permits. I'm a Second Amendment constitutional, uh, and I believe in the Constitution. I did. I was willing to give my life for that Constitution. So your gun permits, your Second Amendment, your First Amendment, your rights matter to me. So I'm going to use the interns from college. This is how I can get them integrated into the field of law enforcement, or even just being involved with law, period, and having them help to expedite your gun permits. It's a shame that they have interns that come in every so often, but they don't really work on and focus factor. So I'm going to use those guys and gals from the different colleges, and this is how I'm going to recruit them also into the Wake County Sheriff's Office. If they come every year as a intern and they focusing on different things, I can recruit them.
But the Raleigh Sheriff Department only enforces within the city boundaries, correct?
No, Wake County enforces incorporated, not in the cities in the unincorporated county. So it's all county land. However, the sheriff is the chief executive officer of the county. So with that being said, he has authority throughout the whole county.
Well, how do you know who the sheriff is, who the police chief is in Raleigh?
Yes, she's fairly new, but she took over for Miss Deck Brown, and I haven't met her, but I've met her once, but I haven't really had that conversation with her as of yet because I haven't been elected yet. I would rather be elected and talk to her as an official than just talk to her as a candidate. But yes, I've met her.
Well, I'd imagine that working relationship between the sheriff's department and the police department is is a key to the smoothness of operation, is it not?
Absolutely. And not just her, all the chiefs of police with Garner, Zebulon, Nightdale, Wendell, all of them we need to work together to solve cases, crimes. Even the detectives need to work together. Everybody needs to work together because there's one county, and at the end of the day, if we fail anywhere in this county, we all fail. So we need to be one family, one unit. And chiefs and sheriffs, they should always work together. So yeah, I plan on doing that. That's one of my major goals, not just there, but actually federal as well, because we have a lot of federal issues that we can use federal agents to help assist us with the top 10% of individuals causing 90% of the crime. So that's a key factor in reducing crime and keeping us all safe.
Isn't it always the case in in law enforcement? 10% of the people doing 90% of the crime. Well, that's the way it is in the private sector when
Uh-huh.
when you've got volunteers helping you for this and that, and it's always 10% of the people that do 90% of the work. I don't.
Work.
How does that rationale always make it in?
It just does. It does.
How long did you serve in the military, buddy? Did you tell me that?
I served 7 years, 11 months. So you know exactly when you 7 years, 11 months. You know exactly what you're doing when you serve there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir. Well, there's you've got a big job ahead of you, but I have no doubt that you're up for it.
Yes, sir.
You're the man that you can't go through 37 years of military service and gain rank and do something wrong. So, and your experience uh, in law enforcement is going to bode very well for you, and I hope that you are successful. I'll be looking forward to hearing that. You got, guess, your primary election coming up in May, right?
Yes, sir. May 17th.
Well, here's wishing you the best, my friend, and
All right. Yes, sir.
all my friends that know you and support you. I'm sure they're counting on your success as well. Is there anything else that I could ask you about that I haven't so far?
Well, it's so much. We'll be on here for hours. I just wanted to tell the people that if they want to support me, please go to my website, Howard, the number 4, sheriff.com, and click the likes and share of any videos or anything you like. And to please support me in donations or whatever you can. $5 is fine, $10, whatever you can afford. It does cost money to run for an elected office where there's 1.3 million people in the corporation of Wake County. So I have a lot of work to do and have to get out advertisement and signs. So thank you all, and God bless everyone that supports me.
Well, we're pulling for you, buddy.